Bonjour.
Hello and welcome to So French, le podcast about France, its crazy politics and life à la française. My name is Sara Bertilsson and today, not from Paris, I am recording this from my very cold, snowy hometown in Sweden.
And my name is Stefan de Vries and I'm in Amsterdam, so a European look to French politics. And in this episode of So French, we're back in the courthouse again, this time with Marine Le Pen, not with Nicolas Sarkozy. We're sorry to disappoint you, but with Marine Le Pen, of course, the leader of the far-right National Rally Party and presidential hopeful for 2027. She's fighting a conviction regarding a fake job scandal at the European Parliament. And most importantly, she's also fighting for a legal right to stand in next year's presidential election.
We're also going to take a closer look at the French chapter of the Epstein files. Many familiar names in the trove of documents that was released by the US Department of Justice last week. A former French culture minister finding himself having to defend his close relationship with the convicted sex offender. And when in France, we'll peek into the heart of the Élysée Palace, its kitchen. And we'll find out what president eats what. Starting, though, with the story that keeps the world's journalists awake day and night, siphoning through these thousands and thousands of documents that have been released in the Epstein case. Each country has its own share, I would say, of fair share of involved politicians, celebrities, royals, businessmen, you name it. You can say that Norway is going through some pretty rough times at the moment. But yeah, France as well has its share of involved people.
Yes, indeed. Norwegian's royal family is going through a rough time, as you said. But here in France, we also have some kind of royal families. One of them is the Lang family, the Lang family. It's famous for many French people since the head of the family is no less than the country's former culture and education minister a long time ago, but he's still well known. And today, Jack Lang, he is the president of the Paris-based Institut du Monde Arabe, the famous Institute of the Arab World. He and his daughter Caroline's names appear, according to French media, thousands of times in the files, and Caroline even being promised $5 million in a will that Epstein signed only a few days before his death, alleged suicide in a prison cell. And it is important to point out that none of the documents reviewed suggest that either Jack or Caroline have been implicated in Epstein's sexual crime. So what is their link, Sarah?
Well, a very close friendship, as it seems, especially between Jeffrey Epstein and Caroline, the daughter in the family. There are meetups in Paris, in the US, organizations of, coffees being taken here and there. And Caroline went to stay in one of Epstein's houses with her daughters, etc. And the investigative website Mediapart has revealed that Epstein also founded a company in 2016 based in the US Virgin Islands that with half of the shares in this company held by Caroline Lang. And this company was intended to support investments in arts. The funding came from Epstein, and Caroline was supposed to bring her knowledge in the world of arts to this company. And then according to Le Monde, Jack Lang, he maintained a contact with Epstein over several years. Same thing there, meeting when Epstein was in Paris. But Jack Lang also asked for favors when it comes to like borrowing cars or private planes, etc., for his family. He also talked to Epstein about help with selling one of his houses in Morocco. And there's just one detail in all of this that I find quite incredible. Jack Lang, apparently, he asked to use Epstein's car for an event outside of Paris. So this is so an event that took place like 60 kilometers outside of Paris. And I just can't understand, why would you have to ask a US businessman who's then not your family and not your best friend if you could use that person's car to go 60 kilometers? I mean, wouldn't you think that Jack Long has his own car, or at least someone closer
Yeah,
than
and there's always
Florida
a
that could
taxi or an
borrow it to
Uber.
him?
It's very weird, but in general, I'm very surprised by all these high-placed people who somehow had kind of fascination for Jeffrey Epstein. He seems like a guru, so it's really incredible. And also the people, of course, who were somehow linked to him now say, yeah, no, I was very silly and I didn't know anything about what he was doing. And also Caroline, so Jack Lang's daughter, she's now a film producer, she admitted that she was incredibly naive for plans to set up a fund to buy artworks with the late sex offender. Caroline Lang, like her father, insists that she never suspected Jeffrey Epstein of child sex crimes or the sex trafficking ring he is accused of running, nor was she ever informed of such activities. But yeah, almost all people say, yeah, if we only had known. But there were so many people involved. It is a very strange way of
the
saying,
thing is,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, she says that she didn't know, but she also says that actually, well, I'm going to quote this because it's interesting.
Yeah.
Caroline has said that one day, a long time ago, he, then Epstein, said to me, if you Google me, you might never want to talk to me again. And then she says that she then continues, and she said, I looked it up and I found in the Florida press that he had been convicted of prostitution of minors and that he had been convicted for it in 2008. He told me that he had paid his debts and compensated the victims, and I believed him. That is not being aware of child abuse.
No. Yeah, but what do you think would, it's pretty serious. But why indeed would a former minister who has such high connections and his daughter be linked to an American businessman? How did that relation start? Do we know anything about that?
Well, we know how Jack Lang was introduced to Epstein, and that was through another controversial figure, actually, which is Woody Allen, famous film director, of course.
Very popular in France, Woody Allen.
Very popular in France, and he has been very popular elsewhere as well. But he has these days also, there are accusations against him as well about having sexually abused one of his adopted children, and I mean, I'm not saying that there's any connection between these two, but yeah, Jack Lang was introduced to Epstein through Woody Allen, and Jack Lang has also defended publicly Woody Allen against these accusations of sexual abuse, where he has said that Woody Allen is a victim of a family feud, and that he's just it's a sort of a witch hunt against him. It says just something about how you see accusations about sexual abuse, and maybe it's not considered as something very serious, or it's something that is at least less important than fame, money,
absolutely,
power. And I think when Caroline Lang says this, that she read about his conviction, but she took his word for that he had sort of paid his debt. You're brushing this very, very serious condemnation aside as something like a parking ticket.
We must not forget that Jack Lang is also the one who said during the scandal surrounding Dominique Strauss-Kahn, he was more or less defending Dominique Strauss-Kahn by saying, what is this fuss all about? Let's remember Dominique Strauss-Kahn was indicted with the rape of a New York hotel employee. At that time, Jack Lang said, what's this fuss all about? Nobody has been killed. So let's not, give all this attention to what my friend Dominic does. It's just sexual abuse. So this is the man apparently that has also had very good relations with Jeffrey Epstein, whom he described as a true lover of art and culture. Well, history will judge, I think, pretty harsh on Jack Lang.
Now we're back in the court, right, Stefan? This is one of our favorite parts in this. We have a lot of politicians that we need to keep up with in the
It's
in the
incredible.
courts.
Yeah. We should almost set up an office in the courts in Paris to keep.
True.
This time it's Marine Le Pen again. French prosecutors on Tuesday demanded that the appeals court maintained a 5-year ban on far-right leader Marine Le Pen from holding public office. This in a EU Parliament scandal. There were fake jobs. Also, people were paid by the European Parliament, but they actually worked for Marine Le Pen and the party. The thing, however, is that these public prosecutors now did not ask for an immediate enforcement of the sentence. Very technical, a bit legally complicated as well, but it could be that Marine Le Pen made a very narrow escape because in an unexpected twist, the prosecutors did not insist that the ban from running for office should be immediately implemented. So the question now is, will we see Marine Le Pen on the presidential ballot in 15 months from now? Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I don't know because of course, this whole trial is an important trial. Should mention because it's very serious charges, having used these public funds, European funds, to pay for party work. I mean, it's very serious what they're accused of, and having been convicted in the lower courts for having set up a sort of a scheme to embezzle European funds. But the big thing is, of course, whether Marine Le Pen will be able to stand in next year's presidential election, where she is she is a favorite, I must say, to actually win, and it would be her 4th presidential election, and this is the moment that everyone says that she has the biggest chance of actually becoming the president. So a lot is at stake. But this whole thing of the ban on standing in elections has, of course, complicated everything for her and for her party, and also for, French public, I must say, because no one really knows now how this is going to end up. But so, there are many different scenarios. Of course, I think we can first of all just say, of course, she has the possibility that she will be cleared of these accusations in the appeals court and that she will be acquitted, and then, problem solved. Marine Le Pen can stand in the election. She can do her campaigning. No problem. But that is quite unlikely if you look at the evidence in this case.
Yeah.
So, but, it is still a possibility. But if she is then convicted, and they go with what the prosecutors requested, that means no immediate effect of this ban on standing for elected office. We will have to wait and see whether the highest court, the Cour de Cassation, will actually accept to hear this case. And that, I think, will be somewhere before summer, right, Stefan?
Yeah, exactly. And if she is convicted again, then it's very likely that she will be replaced by her former protege, Jordan Bardella, 30 years old. And he has now surpassed Marine Le Pen as the most popular politician in the country. She knows that, of course, so she changed a bit her strategy in this trial. She said that her party acted in good faith, and she acknowledged the mistake, and that's really changed because during her first conviction, she was, of course, saying that the judges were not neutral, that she was the victim of a political complot. But now she has changed her tone a little bit, knowing that it is very likely that she will end up in prison. And I think that is something she wants to avoid at all costs, that she will probably accept a condemnation.
But what do you think? We've talked about this a little bit before. You mentioned that Bardella is now, the favorite candidate for the presidency in France. But will she be able? Will Marine Le Pen let him take the spot and run for office, even if she could potentially do it? And is it even possible for Marine Le Pen to run a campaign if she would be convicted, but let's say she would still be allowed to stand in the presidential election? There are so many questions here, and there's a lot of psychology to it as well, right? She has built this. This is her life. This is her
Yeah,
life
yeah.
achievement.
Yes, of course, and it's also a way to beat her father because, of course, her father Jean-Marie has tried many times to become France's president. He never succeeded. He came very close in 2002, but Marine Le Pen was always busy trying to transform the Front National into a more normal party, a decent party, and she was really in all the polls over the past 20 years, every time she goes up a little bit. And indeed, next year could have been the moment where she could have become the president. And now this is probably going to be blocked by the courts. So, what is she going to do? It is very likely that we will have Jordan Bardella as a new president of France next year. But that will be very sour for her to accept and to witness, of course, because this would have been her moment of fame.
Just want to also say that what I find interesting in this is that it doesn't look like the National Rally Party has taken any hit by this whole drama.
No, that's also quite remarkable. It doesn't really matter if you are corrupt or whatever. We've already seen that with Nicolas Sarkozy, convicted many times of very serious crimes, and still he has so much support. So yeah, that's baffles me as well. That apparently you can do anything and still be popular with the voters.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's a question also that people have already so little faith, hope and trust in politicians that, this is when all these cases come up and all this media coverage about it, it's not a big surprise that people already have sort of calculated with that in their political choices, that they consider that this is something that all people, all politicians especially, are up to, which is a very, very sad conclusion if that's the case.
Yeah,
but we're gonna have to wait another few months, I think it is, before we get the final sentencing in this case. So we'll come back to that at that point, and we'll see whether there will be a decision on who will stand in the presidential election for the National Rally.
Yeah. Well, it's time for lunch, Sarah. So let's talk about food. One of our favorite topics, I think, besides politics.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I was wondering, do you know Guillaume Gomez? Do you know who it is?
No, I don't know. Is he a singer?
He's no, well, maybe
Sounds
he is.
like a singer, yeah.
Well, he's making music, but with his pots and pans, maybe, because he, a man with many secrets, I think, because for 25 years he worked in the kitchen at the French presidential palace, the Élysée Palace. Here in Paris. He has served French presidents from Jacques Chirac to Emmanuel Macron, passing through Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande. Four men with very different styles, we must say, and apparently also very different tastes.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
So after he left the Élysée a couple of years ago, it's as a chef, and then he stayed on and had some other engagements. But now he has released a book about his years in the kitchen at the Élysée. It's called À la table du destin, and he's revealing some of the habits of the country's most powerful men. As you know, here in France we talk food all the time. People talk food, and we know sort of there are rumors about what different personalities like, and especially the presidents. It's a big deal what kind of food they eat, etc. I don't know. Do you remember the story about Emmanuel Macron and the cordon bleu?
No, I don't. I only remember the croissants of François Hollande.
Well,
um,
I'm just gonna briefly
what's the story of the
tell you
cordon
the
bleu?
story about the story about the cordon bleu is that just after Emmanuel Macron was elected in 2017 as the youngest president, I think, in French history,
Hmm.
so only 39 years old, something like that, 38.
Yeah, very young. Yeah.
He was filmed at one of these roadside restaurants, and he was about to order his food, and he was looking at everything that was available, and he looks and said, "Oh, le cordon bleu," which is like this, it's like meat, cheese wrapped in meat and then fried.
Yeah.
Um, Very classic French canteen food in
Yeah.
schools. And he said, "Oh, I really like the cordon bleu." And the person who is, who's attending to him, she says, "Well, sir, that's actually the children's menu."
Yeah.
And well, that's kind of funny. But anyways,
Yeah.
this book reveals then some of the secrets, maybe,
Hmm.
of behind the scenes at the Elysee Palace. And I prepared a quiz for you. Are you ready?
Oh, yes, I am. Yeah. Go
Yeah, so
ahead.
you have four alternatives. Always, four presidents: Chirac,
Yeah.
Sarkozy, Hollande, Macron.
Yeah.
So, which president said that meal times is the only time when he's feeling truly free?
Hmm. Well, the person who looked like he ate all the time was probably François Hollande. So I think that may have been the one who said this.
Oh
Am I
no,
close?
Jacques
No?
Chirac.
Oh, Jacques
Jacques
Chirac.
Chirac.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Jacques Chirac felt free when he was eating. And the food famously connected to Jacques Chirac was the tête de veau.
Yeah.
It was quite often said that he was served tête de veau everywhere where he went, because he must have said sometime that this was his favorite food. But so, do you know, according to the chef, then, do you know how many? Tête de veau is an calf's head, I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And he drank
And not
always a
my
beer. Jacques Chirac was always seen with a beer anywhere he went.
true.
Yeah, he liked
Yes, true.
beer.
He was
Yeah.
a big beer lover.
Yeah.
Well, so do you know then how many times the chef at the Elysee served tête de veau to Chirac while he was at the
Well,
Elysee?
let me think. He was a president for 12 years, I think, Jacques Chirac.
Yeah.
So there are about 365 days in a year. That's about 5,000 days. I would say 2,000, half of the
Yeah.
time.
No, twice.
No? Twice? Oh.
Twice, because according to the chef, I mean, Chirac was offered this everywhere he
Oh,
went.
yeah, of course.
And so when and the second time they had served the tête de veau to him at the Elysee, Chirac had said, "Well, this was very nice, but you don't ever have to do this again."
And the rest of the time he ate hamburgers or something.
Who
Uh,
knows?
Funny
Maybe.
story. Yeah.
Okay, a couple of the last questions here. What foreign guest always requested the same menu during their visits to France? I can give you some hints here. Angela Merkel, Queen Elizabeth, Donald Trump, or King Juan Carlos?
Probably Donald Trump. Hamburgers and fries.
Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, what did
Yeah,
she like?
she had the same menu. When she was there
Yeah.
for many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
From René Coty in the 1950s to
Wow.
Emmanuel Macron, always the same menu. And it was lamb.
Oh,
Lamb,
really?
goose liver, and lamb was favorites of the Queen Elizabeth, or favorites. I don't know. This is what she this is what she wanted to ask to eat. I don't know. It was her
Yeah.
favorite. Maybe she was like
She was very
Chirac.
polite.
Someone had
She didn't
decided.
like it at all, but she ate it because she was the queen, so she had to be very polite. Yeah.
Okay, two final questions for you,
Okay.
and then I think then you're ready with
I'm
this
wrong
quiz.
on all the questions. I really should read the book.
What president was considered to be not a food lover because he watched his weight and didn't drink alcohol?
Oh, Nicolas Sarkozy, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't look like much fun, actually. So
But he was at
serious.
the same time. didn't like to eat food, but he was the president who pushed for French gastronomy to be part of UNESCO's heritage list. So maybe more, wanting food to be a symbol for France, but less interested in eating it, maybe.
Yeah, interesting.
And then, according to Guillaume Gomez, then, the chef, which president knows the most about gastronomy and love producers and chefs?
That's difficult. I would say maybe François Hollande.
You might
No?
be very right about that, but that is not what Guillaume Gomez said.
Oh, okay.
He claims that this is Emmanuel Macron. But I'm a little bit wondering if this, this was his last employer, and he's only 46 years old. He's still interested in getting more work elsewhere, possibly also for the French administration. Maybe we should take this this not too seriously.
Okay.
Maybe he's just wanting to keep up with a good relationship with his last boss. But according to him, it was Emmanuel Macron.
Okay.
So,
I never
I
had
would
the
say,
pleasure of having dinner at the Élysée. I did have some cocktails there. They didn't leave a very lasting impression, but maybe one day we'll be invited, Sarah, you and me,
for
to
dinner,
go
that would be
for dinner. Because we are, after all, so French.
True. Not eating the tête de veau, though,
No, me
as a
neither.
vegetarian.
Thank you very much indeed.
Well, you didn't do very well in this quiz.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm not giving you, this is like what? This is a 5 out of 20 in the French.
Yeah, that's not very good. I think I really should read the book. What's the title of the book?
À la table du destin, it is called.
Okay. At the Table of Destiny. Well, it's on my menu now.
That brings us to the end of this edition. You can find all our episodes where you usually get your podcasts, and make sure that you don't miss any of our new shows. So make sure to follow us. And you can also follow us on Instagram. Just search for So French Show.
And so please share this episode with your friends and family. And do shoot us an email. The address is bonjour@sofrench.show. And the So French podcast is produced and presented by me, Stefan de Vries, and
by me, Sara Bertilsson. The original music for this podcast is made by Laurent Blot. And we will be back in 2 weeks with a new episode. Until then, stay warm. Take care. And
au revoir.